Equivalent to unmaker dearly, unmaker dearly, unmaker dearly, unmaker dearly. Mbekwulemanu mgbannọ. Obekwunye eze bụ mgbannọ. And Ikwere bụ eze. Ali Nigeria, unmaker dearly. That is the way we greet in Ikwere land. Amambo Nyedike Alex British Chinedu Equis Tasie. I am a native of Ishopo Ancient Kingdom, which is in Ikwere land. I am a writer, a musician, a filmmaker, a football coach, a historian, and also a multi-dimensional thinker. I am, as I have always said, a proud, self-appointed, self-acclaimed president of the Nigerian semi-educated people. The people in Nigeria that you say, that you think are not well-educated people, are not highly educated people. I am a proud, self-appointed, self-acclaimed president of those people in Nigeria. I am a historian from Ikwere land who is sufficiently informed about the background history of Ikwere people. And I am popularly called Professor of Native Intelligence. What I want to talk about here is this recurring issue of Ikwere people are Igbo people. Ikwere people are Igbo people. Our brothers and sisters and friends from Igbo land always say that Ikwere people are Igbo people, as well as so many other groups that speak what they call the Igboid language. They all opine that all these groups are Igbo. I have been making sense in all my episodes that concern this issue of heritage, origin of the people of Ikwere land. And the sense that I have been making is that language alone is not the final criterion to decide ethnicity. That you cannot use language alone to decide where a person hails from, comes from, the origin of an individual. And as I have always said, it is quite deceptive if you look at language as the only yardstick, only background basis in which you can use to decide ethnicity. It isn't. That our brothers and sisters, friends from Igbo land insist that Ikwere people are Igbo because they speak what they call the Igbo language. I think I want to bring your head down so that we reason together. There is a sense that I have been making for a very long time. And it seems like so many people, especially our brothers and sisters and friends from Igbo land, don't understand it that way. Let us all bring our heads down and reason once again and see if I am making sense. Ikwere people are not Igbo people. And there are reasons to that. You see, I am the most versatile historian. in Ikwere land, and even in Igbo land. You know why? It does not mean that I have carried out the biggest research, on Ikwere or Igbo. No, that is not what I am talking about. But what I am talking about is that I am an, Ikwere historian that has delved into different aspects of the history of Ikwere people and Igbo people. In doing that, I visited more than 70 Ikwere communities and villages. I encountered more than 150 prominent people in Ikwere land. From the year of 2004 to this year of studying Ikwere land makes me about 22 or 23 years as a research historian. And so I am the most prolific, versatile historian that has ever come out from Ikwere land. To study the Igbo too, I visited more than 24 Igbo villages and communities to know who the Igbo people are, what they do, and how they behave. I want to reiterate what I have been saying in other episodes that concern this kind of matter, the origin of Ikwere land. Before the white people came to Nigeria, especially coming to carry out what we call ethnographic, ethnological, or anthropological studies on the people of Nigeria, especially or particularly the people around the Niger, whether the upper Niger or the lower Niger. No community ever answered the name Igbo. And dearly, just follow me gradually. You will really understand the point that I have been making since. Before the white people came to this part of the world to study the people today you call Igbo people, there was no community, no group of people that answered Igbo. As a tribe. No. All throughout the 1700s, which is the 18th century, the 1800s, which is the 19th century, there was no group of people as a tribe, as we have it today, that called itself Igbo. It never happened. There was none. At that time, or in those periods, every group of people had its own peculiar identity, existed in separate ways and forms. There was no cohesion. There was no coming together. All that we had at that time was a matter of interaction, commercially, not politically, not religiously, and not socially. But there was commercial relations between groups. People traded with other groups of people And it ended just that way. There was no political control of any group by another. Ameka, dear, the professor is talking now. I am teaching. And listen attentively. Before the white people came to this part of the world, I repeat, to study the people of this area, there was no group of people known as a tribe as we have it today that bore the name IGBO. Every group had its own peculiar identity and name. Until the white missionaries came to this part of the world. There is no recorded history anywhere that we can lay hands, that we can quote, that had the name or have the name Igbo. There is no recorded evidence anywhere that we can lay hands or quote that has the name Igbo. There's none. There is no history book anywhere in the form of intelligent reports, documentation by the white people, where it is stated that an indigene told the white people that our name is Igbo. If you can forward any of evidence of this kind publicly, I will give you the sum of 100,000 naira. Just quote any book, cite any documentation as written, as produced by the white people, where it is stated by quotes that an indigene told the white people that our name is called Igbo. It never happened. And so, what it substantially means is that there was no place called Igbo before the white people came to this part of the world. And there was no human being called Igbo who founded Igbo land. Mind my words. There was no group of people called Igbo as a tribe, as we have today, the Igbo tribe, that existed at that time. And there was no also a human being who was called Igbo that founded what we call today Igbo land. And number three, there was never a time in history when all the groups today that you call Igbo people came together and agreed to answer the name Igbo. And Megal, dearly, professor of native intelligence, is teaching. You know, there are so many social media historians nowadays, even from Ikwereland, some of those that have retired, you know, and they have nothing to do anymore with their lives, from Ikwereland here and elsewhere, have now all gone to become historians. Most of what they say, they cannot defend. That is what they do. They're everywhere now. Before the evolution of the internet, have been there. From the year of 2004 to this day, in the year of 2006, I went to Benin, to the palace of the Oba of Benin, called Eredu at that time. Unfortunately, I did not meet him, but I met the secretary of the palace, who explained all that he explained. Imagine becoming a historian more than 20 years ago, and you want to equate me with these social media boys now. who call themselves historians. I am a published historian with about 4 to 5 books, on the issue of history. All these social media historians, have they written any book? No. They don't have books. I have books. I carried out research. So I am a master in this area, particularly the history that concerns the people of Ikwere land. Why I am bringing in the Igbo into this is because the Igbo people are dragging Ikwere into their matter. And that is why this thing now concerns them. Ordinarily, there's no need to talk about the Igbo. It is their affair. There was never a time when all the groups who call themselves today Igbo people came together and agreed that our name will become Igbo. It never happened. What existed at that time was that an Onitsha person was seen as an Onitsha person. An Ikwere person was seen as an Ikwere person. An Afikpo person was seen as an Afikpo person. An Nsukka person was seen as an Nsukka person. And so on and so forth. That was where it happened. I tell you, that was the way it happened. Until the turn of the 20th century. In the early periods of the 1900s, one white man who had previously visited Yoruba land came down to the east, came down to this part called the Niger area. And his name is the late Reverend Joseph Shaman. He was the first person who identified a group of people as IGBO, IGBO, industrious, bold, and organized people. At a particular place, he met them, far off from the ports, from the shores of the Niger, down into the interior of the Igbo heartland. And do you know what the name means? The name means a people who live in the forest area, who live in the bush area. That is what Igbo means. It was Joseph Shanahan who identified a particular people that he met, and he called them Igbo people. Some people may say it is a lie. Our name is Ndibo, ancient people. And what it substantially means is that any group of people that is old in the world is Igbo. Because the Yoruba people are also old. The Ijaw people are also old. The Ibibios are also old. The Hausas are also old. What are the Ethiopians? The Egyptians, the Canaanites, the Jewish people, and all that. All these groups of people are old. And so they are invariably called Igbo. Igbo, people of the ancient time. Every group of people that is old is Igbo. That is what it means. It was Joseph Shanahan who gave the people, because much of his work, his missionary work, was done in the East. So he encountered them more than any group of people from the European stock initially. And he gave them the name Igbo. He did not give the name generally to all the people who are called Igbo today. Initially, It was after his time that succeeding missionaries and also business people and government officials that entered Igbo land began to use the name Igbo generally for the people they identified that speak the Igbo language or the Igbo language. America, dearly. There is no Igbo person, whether as an academic or an ordinary person, that can certainly state that there was a group of people called Igbo as a tribe before the white people came. And if anybody says that, I want verification, make it public. Quote any book. That is what it means. So the Nsukka people at that time were known as Nsukka. Owere people at that time were known as Owere. The Onitsas were known as Onitsha. Our people, these other groups of people were known according to the names they bore at that time. But when studies penetrated what you call today Igbo land, the white people began to piece together the relationship, the resemblances of the groups in what they call Igbo. And they found out that there are similarities, and they jointly called all of them Igbo. And henceforth, every other studies on the group, bore the name Igbo. And the cow, dearly, I am an uncommon historian. You can hardly find my kind. I am a thinker. So when I do history work, I apply thinking. You bring out a particular subject matter, tinker over it for a very long time, and you get results. That is what I do. Then to support your thinking, you investigate. It is time consuming and it is also expensive, but it is worth doing for you to get to the root of the matter. The white people were the people who brought the name Igbo, because Joseph Shanahan got the name from the Yoruba people. Igbo in Yoruba means forest area, bush area, thick bush area. Igbo in Ikwere means thick bush area. We call it Igbo. In Eje, there is Igbo Eje. The thick bush of Eje people. In Ikwere, Romo Igbo is children who live in the bush area. In Yoruba, we have Igbo Asako, Ijebu Igbo, Igbo Aro, then Ika Igbo in Delta State. Then in Igbo land, we have what we call Igbo Etiti in Abia State, Igbo Ugu in Anambra State, a big bush. That is what it means. There was no human being called Igbo who founded Igbo land. So since there was no human being that founded Igbo land as an individual, then who is your father in Igbo land? Ameka, dearly, who is your ancestor? Who gave back to your ancestor? You can see nobody founded Igbo land. No person. So who actually gave back to your ancestors? How did your ancestors come to the place called Igbo land today? That is the question that is burning. That is a blessed question. That is what I want people to get to. And they are not doing that. They are looking at it on the face value. It doesn't end there. You have to go deeper. You must be profound in your analysis of the whole matter. There was no person called Igbo that founded Igbo land. And so how did you come to become Igbo? Ameka Diale. How? You have not explained. The white people that grouped the whole people and called them Igbo because of the similarities that they discovered, we are not also able to explain the origins of those groups. Since there was no person we can call the father of Igbo land, the founder of Igbo land, the tree from which all the branches all moved out, then how can we determine the origins of all the groups today that speak the Igbo group of language? How? So what it means is that people came from different directions. People came from different areas. And they met at what we call melting point. They agreed to socialize. They agreed now to do business together. They agreed to relate. And those that came from different areas shared their original language or languages, philosophies, mentalities, even method of occupations, and integrated with one that was convenient. All the groups that you call Igbo people today are of the same status. Nobody is Igbo because there was no person who founded Igbo land, who discovered Igbo land, that we can hold hand and say, this is our father. Like the Yoruba people, they have Oduduwa, and they say Oduduwa is the central figure in the history of Yoruba land. In Igbo land, there is no individual we can identify as the center figure that connects the whole of the groups called Igbo. So, Kinohomini, come from here, come from here, come from here, come from there, come from here, come from there. Now they found themselves together. So my concern as a historian is not even about the actions of the white people, but about the origins of the people who today compose what you call the Igbo nation. Because they all came from different areas of origin. In the early 1900s, when the white people brought what we call provinces into Nigeria, the people of what you call today Ogoja, much of what we call today Ebonyi land, was part of what was called at that time the Ogoja province. There was the Nsukka province. There was the Ikwere province. There was the Ogoni province. There were so many provincial areas as designed by the white people. There was no state, there was no region at that time. So they now began to study the people, study how they have come to be compatible in some areas, but they never studied profoundly, deeply. They never tried to unearth the origins of the people. They just made what I call a composite history, carried out an analysis of the people, and concluded all all these people are subgroups. That means they are parts. Part of what? They are parts of Igbo, subgroups of Igbo. Ngwa, a subgroup of Igbo, which means, according to their studies, these people are related. But they are not the same. And actually, we are not the same. And that is why an Ikore person has nothing in common with the Ngwa people, with the Nsukka people, with the Onitsha people, with the Umuahia people. Afikpo person is that person has nothing to do with Onitsha people, the Oguta people. An Oguta person has nothing to do, has nothing in common apart from the language with an Ngwa person. Aha. So language all alone is not the final yardstick to determine ethnicity. The cultures in Igbo land vary. There is no homogeneity in culture in what we call Igbo land, but people mistakenly and ignorantly too believe that the entire Igbo nation has one culture. No! The wares, the costumes, even the cuisines, the foods in Arochukwu are not found in Anambra. You know, most of what the Arochukwu today wear as fashion or traditional wears are all borrowed from the Ibibios, their neighbors. And that is why those dresses you call traditional ones in Arochukwu today, in Idem, in Abeba, in Ohafia, even in Isukwako area, are all of Ibibios, borrowed. You cannot find them in Onitsha. You cannot find them in Owerri. And all those costumes, most of them are associated with cult-related groups or masquerade. It is so. What the people of Anambra wear, you hardly find an Owerri person wearing them. The married culture is not the same. As it patterns in Izzi, it's not the way it patterns in Nsukka. As it patterns in Onitsha, it's not the way it is done in Owerri. The foods are also different. If you go to Ebonyi, you find it strange. You go to Umuahia, you find it strange. You go to Anambra, you find it all strange. You go to Nsukka, you find it all strange. Why do you say that culturally all Igbo people are the same? No. Even the names they bear. Each group has a particular name that you can use to recognize that group. In Igbo, the names are not the same. The names that are common in Nsukka are not common in Owerri. The names that are common in Ezza, in Afikpo, are not common in Ngwa. And you say everything is the same. No! Because you have not carried out any investigation historically into all these matters. That is why you argue. That's why you quarrel. You don't need to quarrel. History is about the events of the past. All these things we are dragging. Ikore is Igbo, Abo is Igbo, Kwale is Igbo, Ogoja is Igbo, everywhere is Igbo, the social Igbo, Anyoma, all that, all are Igbo, does not have any trade or commercial, executive, or even political essentialities. They don't. There's no significance. That you call an African person, an Igbo person, and you're from Owerri, of what significance? What are you going to gain? Are you going to go to Ebonyi and marry free? Can you go to Umuahia when you are from Owerri and they give you an inch of land free? Can you go from Muguta and you now go to Ngwa and you take their wife for free and leave? Of what benefits are all these things, if not for cultural expansion? Nothing. Even in Ikwere here, where I come from, everything is not rosy. That we are all Ikwere people. It sometimes there's no much significance. No gain. You go to your brother who is from Elele and you're from Ishobo, and he decides not to give you what you want. Decide not to help you. You go to the redisi person in Port Harcourt and you're from Elele or you're from Joba, the person decides not to help you. Of what significance? These things have no value. But since it is a matter of the past, we have to put it the correct way. And the only person that can put it the correct way is Professor Alex British Chinedu Tasie, Ikwere historian. I am soundly informed about the background histories of Ikwere people and Igbo people as well. I have carried out deep research works on these two groups, especially in the area of anthropology and others. You don't need to quarrel, you don't need to fight. That the Igbo person says he or she is not Igbo. What are you quarreling for? Actually, nobody is Igbo. Actually, nobody is Igbo. And one person can decide tomorrow to say, I want to trace the origin of my people. And if that person discovers it, he or she tells you, I am not from this group. That is why an Asoka person tells you, I have discovered the root of my people. Onitsha person tells you, I have discovered the root of my people. Uguta person tells you, I have discovered the root of my people. You that is from Owerri, from Okigwe, from Umuahia, from Abreba, where is your roots in Igbo land? Since there was no papa, no mama that gave birth to all the people called Igbo, who are your brothers and sisters? Nobody is Igbo. The language, how it came about, nobody knows. Whether it came from Ikwere area, as we are claiming, and others now copied, nobody knows. Whether it came from Umuahia, nobody knows. Whether it came from Ngwa, nobody can lay claim. You cannot tell me that every group learned the language at the same time. No. The language started somewhere. Where? Migration of people. Where? How did people find out? Where did they settle at first and now began to find out? Where? You're talking about Igbo. Someone from Ebonyi, Igbo. Someone from Abakaliki, Igbo. Someone from Onitsha, Igbo. The Igbo you're talking about, you don't know the background history. You don't know that you may not also be Igbo. The name was given to you by the white person. What is your indigenous name? Because it means a people who live in the bush area. In the current world today, the Igbos are not in the bush area anymore. So what is your name? You have to change it. You have to change the name Igbo because it means bush. Change it and identify your true name. And make up, dearly. I am a profound historian. I'm not boasting. When you encounter me, I lecture you. Yes, I may go way outside the scope of your expectation, but it is intentional to lecture you what you do not know. All those people who are spreading this, dispersing this, diffusing this and that, these Igbo people, and so what. They will say all that and get tired. It doesn't make any sense. You are bringing Igbo people together, okay, Igbo unity, this and that, and a boy person cannot come to Igbo here now and contest any election to represent Igbo people. It cannot happen. An Anambra person cannot move from here, go to Abia, go to Ngwa, say, I'm Igbo, Ngwa, give me land. It is my right. And they will give. It has no meaning. So what are we killing ourselves for? It has no meaning. That is the way I see it. And that's why I said, let us all bring our heads down and see if what I am talking about makes sense. I am not here to impress anybody. There are still people who will say he is foolish in what he's saying. He is not making sense. But I would appeal to him to counter it with superior positions. If you argue me, people don't always argue me. If you argue me, don't run away. Don't run away. Bring out facts so that people can look at the facts you are presenting and say, this man is talking trash. Don't just say he's talking nonsense, he run away. No. I want to learn also. Because what I do is what I heard from people. As a historian, which is one of the sweetest subjects, and the father of every discipline in the world is history. Because every discipline in life has a background history. So history is the father of every other subject. It is the most versatile subject, most universal subject on earth. Everything has an origin, has a beginning, and the beginning is the past. And the history is all about the past. So just don't argue and run away. No. Argue and stay. Convince me that I am talking trash. I am talking nonsense. I am talking jargon. Convince me with your superior positions, documents, evidences. I'm ready. So Igbo people are not Igbo people. First, they don't live in the bush area. They don't live in the bush area. Second, when the white people came, Joseph Shanahan and others, they did not, initially call us Igbo people. It was later documentations by succeeding historians that began to trace the similarities and say Ikwere is a subgroup of the Igbo. Fine. Then who is the Igbo? Who is the father of the Igbo? Who really owns Igbo? Maybe you're talking about that Ikwere as a subgroup is also the father of Igbo. It is possible. I want to ask God Almighty to continue to bless us, give us long life, and give us sound health. Protect us as we go in, we go out and come in. Be with us, give us limitless and boundless opportunities, and help us through His grace to surmount, our human challenges. Through the name of His Son Jesus Christ. Amen. And make dearly, stay safe. Don't fight because of history. Don't fight. Don't quarrel. And make